All right, so we made it to our last review lesson before we move on to actually working in the book. So our last review lesson is diamond problems. Your learning targets, you can complete diamond problems. You're going to know that you have it when you can fill in the correct numbers, even when you're working with the backwards diamond problems where you have to find the product in some examples. And you're going to be learning this because diamond problems are a tool that you're going to be using for factoring throughout your entire high school math career. So we have a rule that we're going to be following when we're working with diamond problems. And that rule is that whenever you have these two numbers, the top of your diamond is going to be the product, which is multiplying those two numbers. The bottom of your diamond problem is going to be the sum of those left and right numbers. So what those two numbers add up to. We have our first example, and these are kind of tiered into easy, medium, hard. Our first example is the easiest three problems. We're given the left and the right pieces, so we just have to find what they multiply to, what they add up to. So this first example, I have negative 20 times 10. So I know multiplying those will give me negative 200. And then I have negative 20 plus 10 to get negative 10. And you can always go back and check your work and put negative 20 times 10 in your calculator, put negative 20 plus 10 in your calculator, and make sure that it all adds up and multiplies up correctly. Our next example is we have negative 5 times negative 100 to get the top. Negative times negative turns positive. 5 times 100, 500. And then the bottom, I have to add these two pieces. Negative 5 plus negative 100. Same sign, stays negative. 105. And then our last example of the easy problems, negative 1 times 1 multiplies to be negative 1. Negative 1 plus 1 adds up to be 0. Here's your example that you're going to do on your own. When you're typing this into your Edpuzzle text box, I don't care if you type in the top number first or the bottom number first. Let's say this is not the answer, but let's say the answer was 1,003. You can go ahead and type 1,000, 3 or 3, 1,000 in your answer bar. So for your correct answer, 4 times negative 8, you should have gotten negative 32. Adding 4 plus negative 8, you'll get negative 4. All right, we made it to the medium problems. So this time we have not the left and the right pieces. So we're going to have to work backwards a little bit to be able to find all of them. So this first, I have the bottom number. So that tells me the sum. I know that this number plus 4 has to equal 6. So what plus 4 equals 6? We know that's going to be 2. And then that way we can fill the top because now we have the left and the right still. So 2 times 4 will give me 8. For B, we have negative 2 and we have the top piece. So we know that the product of negative 2 and something else is 8. So negative 2 times what gives me 8? I need negative times another negative so that it goes back to positive, and 2 and 4 multiply to give me 8. So negative 2 times negative 4 gives me positive 8. If I were to have forgotten this negative sign, it would be incorrect because this would have to be a negative 8 up there and it's not. Your bottom piece, negative 2 plus negative 4, same sign stays negative. 2 plus 4 gives me 6. And then our last of the medium examples, we have 4 times something else gives me 44. 4 times 11 gives me 44. And I know that 4 plus 11 down in the bottom, the sum is 15. go ahead and do this easy example on your own. Again, typing in doesn't matter what order. You should have found that -1 plus what gives me -7. -1 plus -6 will give me -7. And then -1 times -6 gives me a +6. So you should have typed in 6, -6, or -6, 6. And then the last examples that we're going to be doing for today are the hard examples. So that's when we're given just the top and the bottom pieces, and we really have to work backwards this time. So the first step whenever you're doing these is you are going to list out all of the products. So you're going to look at the top number. This example, we have 60. And you're going to list every single thing that multiplies to 60. So I have 1 and 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, 6 times 10, 7 doesn't go into it, 8 does not, 9 does not, and we already have 10 listed on the right side. So we've completed all of them. Now you're going to look through this list of pairs and you're going to see which one adds up to that bottom number, which one adds up to 16. This adds up to 61, 32, 23, 19, 17, and I found it. It was that last option, 6 and 10. And as you do these more frequently and become better at them, it's not going to be every single time that you're going to have to list out all the factors to figure it out. Sometimes it'll just click in your head and you can be able to see and say, oh, I know that's 6 and 10. So going on to the next one, I'm going to be working with -8. Start with the top number, list out all the products, 1 and 8. But then you look at it and you realize that multiplies to +8. So one of these numbers is going to have to be negative, and it can go either way. So I'm going to list -1 and 8, 1 and -8, 2 and 4 with both the negative options. 3 doesn't go into it, and then we're back to 4 that we have on the other side. So now I'm going to be looking at these, and I need to figure out which of these pairs adds up to 2. -1 and 8 adds up to 7. 1 and -8 adds up to -7. -2 and 4 does add up to +2. And make sure that you pick that pair and not the 2 and -4, because this one would have added up to -2, which is not the bottom of our diamond. So we get -2 and 4. And then that last example, we have 18. We have to list out everything that multiplies to 18. So 1 and 18. It's a horrible 8. 2 and 9. 3 and 6. 4 doesn't go into it. 5 doesn't go into it. We're back to 6, which we already have on the right side of our table. So looking at this, these all do multiply to +18. When you look at what you're adding to, we need to be adding to a negative number, and none of these right now add to a negative number. So you're going to think, in order to multiply to a positive, still, we're going to have to make it a double negative, so that when you do -1 times -18, it turns back to +18. And now we can look for what adds up to -9. So -1 plus -18 adds up to -19. -2 plus -9 adds up to -11, and it's our last example of -3 and -6. Here's your last practice problem to complete on your own. You should have listed out all the factors of -6. So -1 and 6, 1 and -6, -2 and 3, 2 and -3, what adds up to 5, look at -1 and 6.